500-point drop in the Dow got you nervous? Well, if so, you're too risky. That's just a fact. You can't overlook the fact that even with this, well, we're down 2% for the last week. We're way, way, way up from where we were even at the beginning of 2022. So remember, 2022, we went up, and then we went down, and then we came strong back in 2023. And we're basically breaking, about November 2023, we're even, Steven. Now we're way up from where we were in 2022. That's just price. Doesn't include dividends reinvested either. I mean, this is one of my pet peeves. People say, I'm losing money. You're not losing money. You're way up from where you were just 2 years ago. Never mind 5 years ago. Never mind 10 years ago. Never mind 15 years ago. Never mind 2006. It's just you're way up. And so I just don't, this whole thing to me is like, I can't afford a loss. Look, if that's you, you're too risk heavy. You're too risky. That's why I got out. I had a 100% stock portfolio, and I got out, and I'm 65, probably 70-30. But I got enough cash, and it felt good, because all the time, whenever the markets would get crushed, it's like, oh man, we'll have to drop another 20%. It's like, this could be it, this could be it. It just freaking made me nervous, not going to lie to you. So I said, wait, I can get 5% in cash. I'm just going to park some money in cash, park some money in long-term bonds. You know, the volatility of long-term bonds doesn't bother me because I'm not planning on touching those monies. And I think the volatility on long-term bonds is behind me now. And so as such, I'm like, all right, I'm just pocketing 4 and 4.5% on government bonds, long-term bonds, with a massive amount of upside, a little bit downside, I grant you. I think the downside is gone because of what happened in 2022. My stocks are going up nicely. You know, do I ever sit there and say, oh man, I'm losing out because the stocks are going up? No. You know why? Because I know. I said when the stock market falls, I'm going to be very happy that I get a bunch of long-term bonds and cash. And I am. I sleep like I don't think about this at all. I see a 530-point decline in the Dow. The S&P was down 1.25% today. Doesn't bother me in the least. Not the least. However, when I was all in stocks, it did. Now, the difference between you and me maybe is that I'm self-employed. You see what I'm saying? So I know at the end of the day, my business income could drop like that. And as such, I'm going to be relying on my portfolio, and I don't want to do that. I mean, I have to build back my cash, and that's the scary thing. Like, who said that today? Owen Benjamin, great theory. He said, live your life like the globalists are always going to shut everything down. I said, that's such a great way to look at it. I'm butchering it. But live your life like a shutdown's coming or something like that. I said, what a wonderful thing. And what that means is be prepared. Always be prepared, because it's a lesson that shall not be shared. Be prepared, be prepared. It's a lesson that shall be shared. That's what it was from the best movie ever called Hoodwinked. Be prepared. Anyway, live your life like the globalists are going to shut everything down again. Always have preparation. And the preparation that you need is liquidity, man. That's just a fact. So if you lose your job suddenly, you're going to need liquidity. Your stocks aren't liquidity if the markets are falling 20, 30, 40, 50%. They're just not. Bonds, that did happen, long bonds, again in 2022, which has never happened before the way they did. Never going to, never, most likely will never happen again. I think those days are well beyond the likelihood that will ever happen again. I absolutely could be wrong. Either way, stocks could. Cash won't, bonds won't. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, if I'm living my life like the globalists are going to shut everything down, what happens next? Well, I got enough cash to at least pay the bills for a year. I got enough bonds to at least pay the bills for another year, and the rest is in stocks. You see what I'm saying? That's the way I think you should do. If you're working, if you're retired, it's different. If you're retired, I think you should have at least 4 years of cash. You know, cash, short-term bonds is similar, synonymous. Cash, and when I say cash, I'm talking money markets. Stable value funds don't look good right now, but money market accounts, short-term treasury bonds look great. That's what I have. I mean, my cash is literally a short-term treasury bond fund at Charles Schwab. I have EDV, that's my long-term bond fund, which is crazy aggressive. But at some point it'll pay off. I don't know when. It might be 10 years from now. It might never, but I'll be clocking. But it's just, man, this is why I always say take the gains, dude. Because you're still so far up. Now, again, if you're accumulating money in a stable job, you can afford, like my man, Tom. I haven't seen Tom around these parts for a while, but he always said, he's always 100% stocks. But he always talks about having enough cash and have his debt paid off, too. I completely agree. If you're in accumulation mode, I got no qualm with that. If you got a steady job, you got no debt, and you got cash, man, go freaking hell's the bells, have stocks. I got no qualm with that. If you're about to retire, say two years or so, you're recently retired, that's too aggressive in my opinion. Even if you don't have any debt, even if you don't have any, what was I going to say? Even if you don't have any debt, even if you got like a year of cash, you need more cash in that, or more liquidity. I just think the opportunity for having some bonds is significant because you're getting rewarded nicely for not being in stocks without the risk that stocks come. And when I said rewarded nicely, I am talking like 4 to 4.5%. This isn't, we're not going to freaking be swinging for the fences here. But we're getting a solid single, maybe a double, but we're getting solid singles, which is fine by me. Your stocks are for your doubles and triples, and if every now and again, you might hit a grand slam out of what does 75 do? Well, the markets, there's a couple of years the markets did 54% or above. 75 maybe? I can't remember. But anyway, that's not likely to happen, but it could. You know what I'm saying? Not likely to happen with a significant downturn. So if you look 73 and 74, markets are down 44% in total. I think 75, the markets are up pretty significantly. I think it was. 32, wait, 29, 30, 33 maybe, the markets are up 50%. I can't remember what happened in 2009 and 2010. I just don't recall. But at the end of the day, anytime there's a significant up, it always meant there's a significant down. The same kind of thing with bonds. That's why I'm holding my breath for the bonds to pop. And it might happen a year from now. It might happen in 5 years. I don't know. But if this stuff makes you worried, you're too risky. That's all there is to it. And it's one thing to be too risky when the bonds are paying, 2, and there's all kinds of risk associated with them. So no, and then on top of that, cash is paying 1 or even at 1/4%. You got $100,000 in cash and you're getting $250 in interest. Dude, that sucks. That's not the case anymore. Am I telling you again? If you're in accumulation mode, do I say go to stock? Go get out of stocks? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying at the end of the day, if this is risky for you and you got a risky job and you don't have enough cash, you got some debt, I would tell you, say, man, what happens if it falls out? What happens if globalists lock everything down? If the floor falls out and you're sitting there, I will say this on Blue in the Face. This is exactly what happened in 2008. Exactly what happened. I used my stocks for my liquidity, and guess what? Stocks fell out, my job fell out, and I still have my debt, and I was in a world of hurt. But don't let that happen to you. Learn from my mistakes. God bless. Love you, stocks.